Good morning, everyone. It's Crystal with Every Tiny Victory. If you're new here, I'm a 40-something-year-old woman living in Houston, Texas, and I'm on a journey to reclaim my health after receiving a diagnosis of type 2 diabetes in December of 2023. It is June 1st of 2025, and I wanted to tell you what my plan is for this coming month. So I have been trying to get things in order as I've been sharing. And over the past, couple of months, I've had a couple of setbacks, mainly related to my medication, mounjaro. And I use mounjaro to help me manage my blood sugar. And my blood sugar is definitely moving in the right direction. It's going down. And after my latest blood work, my results and things show that I've moved back into the pre-diabetic range, which is great. But one of the things that I was, kind of looking forward to or hoping that it would help a little bit more is the weight loss. I have made some significant changes to my diet, in that, we do not eat out as far as like fast food, nearly as much. I think in the past month I had one fast food meal, and so one fast food meal, and we've had meals out like fajitas, for example, but it's just the meat and the vegetables. So I've drastically changed what I've been putting in my body, mainly meal prepping my meals for my Monday through Friday job, and then cooking at home most nights for dinner. Unfortunately, I've been seeing, a weight loss stall is what I'll call it. I did have to get off my medication back in February because my prescription lapsed, and I couldn't get in to see the doctor before, I ran out of my my mounjaro shots. So I was off for just about a month, and then I restarted, and then had to get off again so that I could do my colonoscopy, and then I restarted. And so it's been a lot of interruption, I think, with the medication, so a lot of the things that a lot of the positive side effects that I'd been experiencing, like suppression of my appetite and the cravings, the sweet cravings that I hadn't seen in over a year, had returned. So some of the things that were helpful in the weight loss journey have been, spotty over the last several months. I've been increasing my protein because that's one of the recommendations they give you when you're on a GLP-1 medication, is you need to increase your protein. So I've been doing that, and I've been lowering, the number of carbs that I have, balancing out as best as I can vegetables that are low in starches and higher in fiber. And so over the last year, like I said, I've been able to achieve 35 pounds of weight loss. This year, it has completely stalled out, and I've been, losing and gaining the same like half pound for I would say like the last 6 weeks. So I was talking to one of my best friends, Liz, and she mentioned that she's having some other, health realizations herself, and is wanting to do something a little different herself. And so we kind of decided to make June a reset month for both of us. So my ultimate goal is to be able to run a 5K by the end of the year. I'm hoping a little closer to, my birthday, sometime in, maybe September, October. At the very least, I thought maybe I could participate in a turkey trot around Thanksgiving. And, I started researching some of the like Couch to 5K plans, and they all assume that you have a foundation of running or walking at the very least at a certain pace. So, anywhere between like 12 to 14 minutes per mile. And I know 100% that I am not there. I'm admittedly in the worst shape of my life. So it would be unrealistic to expect that I could, go from, couch to 5K in 4 weeks. That's just not realistic, and that would be a recipe for disaster. So what Liz and I talked about was doing a June reset. Just get out there and do it, is what we're calling it. And to get out and just do some activities, some walking, for 30 minutes a day. And, the goal is to do 5 days outside if possible. So along with, doing the physical activity and getting some miles in and that kind of thing over the course of the week, the idea is to let the sunshine hit our face, right? So absorbing the vitamin D from the sun is one of the best ways to help you with, lifting your mood. That's one of the other things. Vitamin D also helps you absorb and process other minerals that are very helpful in keeping your body healthy. And so that's kind of the goal that we've kind of set out to do today, starting June 1st. And I wanted to invite you to join us. What I'm going to be doing is making a post on Facebook, just kind of letting everyone know, hey, this is what I'm doing, and I invite you to participate with me. And I have an icon that or I guess like an emoji that I've decided to use for each week. So we'll be doing these, 30 minutes activity per day for the next 4 weeks. And, the goal is to set up that foundation, to establish that base, so that in, hopefully 4 to 6 weeks, I'll be able to start working on that Couch to 5K training. Whether you want to participate in the 5K training or not, that's completely up to you. But I'm hoping that, one, not only will this help me to kind of, just get my, lung capacity up. I know that, it's really hard to do physical activity when your lungs aren't used to expanding and contracting. That's lung capacity, and you build up that lung capacity when you're doing a little bit more physical activity. So I'm hoping that'll help me with, being able to breathe while I'm doing exercise a little bit better. And I'm hoping that I will be able to have, a little bit more, I think, encouragement from myself to be able to, get moving again. Sometimes I just feel really discouraged when I try to walk or try to do something, physical activity wise, because everything hurts. I would say that the goal is not to have a certain pace right now. The goal is to do the time, right? So get out and have the time, 20 to 30 minutes. I'm shooting for 30 minutes a day. But being able to get out there and be able to do that activity for at least 30 minutes. So I'm hoping that will be helpful in a number of different reasons. And then, of course, the lizard time, right? Like my niece calls it lizard time. I'm sure you've seen like a lizard just perch on a rock and just absorb the sun. And so I think that being outside will help a lot with my mood, but, help me, my body just kind of kick it in gear and start getting back onto the systems that it's supposed to be doing, the processes that my body naturally wants to do. But I have been lacking in vitamin D for so long, which I'm sure, a lot of people can relate to if you work an inside desk job. So one of the things that I wanted to do today, I've already gone to pick up my groceries and put, all that stuff away inside the house. And now it's time to get my tennis shoes on and head to my nearest track. So I'm going to be going to one of our local, I think it's a middle school, that has an outdoor track that the public can go and walk on. So I'm going to do that for as long as my body can stand it, at least 30 minutes, maybe a little bit more, who knows. But we'll see how this goes. So I'm going to let you guys join me on my way to the park. I'm really nervous because I haven't been out like in an outdoor walking setting in a long time. It's just kind of that, ripping off the Band-Aid and just getting out there and getting used to a new normal, right? I have a lot of anxiety, and I haven't really talked about that, but I would say around the pandemic, after 2020-ish, I developed anxiety and started having panic attacks. And so one of the things that I really have to focus on when I'm trying new things is not getting in my head too much about it, because I will psych my entire self out from that activity. A lot of times, you know, unfortunately, my anxiety wins. So for the last 10 majillion years, I have been telling myself that I don't need to try doing anything with walking outdoors, because it's going to be scary, it's going to be difficult, it's going to be challenging, all those things. And I think I have decided that I'm done letting my anxiety win, and particularly with the activity of, you know, walking and jogging, running. I know that I really enjoy that activity. And I remember, you know, I think it was 2007 when I first started walking at Memorial Park, this huge park here in Houston. It was very therapeutic for me. I know that walking, you know, jogging, running is an activity that I enjoy, and I just have to get out of my head. I have to get out of my head and not let the anxiety of this activity psych me out. I feel like people are always looking at me, and maybe they are, but probably 9 times out of 10 they aren't. And I'm, you know, just allowing these thoughts, negative thoughts, to live rent-free in my head. So I'm gonna do what I feel like I can do today, which is go for a walk. There's not many people out and about right now, so I think it's a good time. It's not too hot, and so maybe I'll get a little sweaty, but it's not going to be like super blazing hot. So I'm going to stop talking so I don't psych myself out, and I'm going to put my tennis shoes on and go for a walk. I'll bring you with me. Getting started. Lots and lots and lots of cars nearby. Block the car. Yeah. Okay, here's the fit check. Some new kicks. Sorry if this video is shaky. Just wanted to let you know I'm still doing it. It's gonna be okay. We got this. First day. My new kicks. Did all right. Done and dusted. All right, I hope you can hear me. I picked the absolute worst spot to rest and take a breather before I do my cool down lap. But I wanted to just share an observation that has really been a hurdle for me in getting active again. I think everybody knows at this point, or I mean, I'm sure I've told you because I'm so proud of myself, but many, many moons ago, I used to run, not competitively, but, races, 5Ks. I did a 25K once. I did a marathon. I did 3 marathons, and countless half marathons during those trainings. But once I kind of stopped running and had let time and lifestyle change my body, anytime that I do physical activity longer than, I would say maybe a half a mile, like if it's continuous, I get painful, I guess, aches, I guess, in my hips. And I've let that stop me for a long time. I work with transfer students, so students that are at a community college that are looking to move on and continue their education at a 4-year university. And part of the fun, aspects of my job are that I get to take students on university visits. And so we have toured so many universities across the state of Texas. And, I always just kind of chalk it up to being like basically old and fat. that when we get, walking, with the backwards walkers that are telling you all about their campus and all that kind of stuff, I get this kind of searing pain in my hips. And part of what I enjoy about those experiences are, interacting with the students and, answering questions for them, of course, but, they make observations about their needs, their educational needs, and the things that the aspects of that campus that they enjoy and things like that. And it's hard to, really live in that moment and enjoy those conversations and connection with students when I'm thinking about the pain that I'm experiencing in my body. What I noticed today at around, I think it was lap 2 or 3, that pain came back, and in my head, I was thinking, oh, I guess I'm going too fast. I need to stop and, slow down and that kind of thing. And I don't know what happened. Something in me just said, no, it's not the pain. Like, it wasn't the pain that I felt like something was wrong. It was the pain of discomfort and the pain of, I think, wanting to give up. And I think that I've been operating in that mindset for such a long time that it took a little bit of pushing through today. About, I would say like a quarter of a loop, the little track loop, further down the way, the pain had subsided. And I think it was just more of like a conscious burn, if that makes sense. I'm sorry, I can't tell what is my tears and what is my sweat. I guess that's a good thing. But it just reminded me, or it made me think of how many times in the last 10 plus years that I've just given up on myself and have just thrown in the towel. Whether that's with mental health issues that I've been experiencing, or obviously health issues, just anything else. I can't think of anything else at this time, but I've been giving up on myself for such a long time, and I feel like the stakes are so high at this point that I have to choose myself. Sorry, I didn't mean to get so emotional, but I've had so many people in my life that have been cheerleaders and encouragers and people that have been checking in on me, and the only thing I can say is that it has to come from within, and I haven't been ready. And I think over the past year, I've had a lot of time to think about what I want the second half of my life to look like. And I don't want it to be from the perspective of a wheelchair or from a dialysis machine. I don't want it to be from the perspective of an operating table getting an organ transplant. And I know it sounds dramatic, but diabetes is an ugly disease. It robs you of your time, and it robs you of your life. It robs you of those relationships with your family. And I don't think I understood that until my own diagnosis for type 2 diabetes. So everything, it just seems like everything is a wake-up call at this point. I think that's what happens when you hit your 40s. Like, you realize time is going by so fast. And at least for me, understanding how this disease works, what I can do to prevent it and reverse it, and the life that I get back by being, like, choosing myself and making decisions that are going to benefit me, and not always choosing the easy way out, I guess. I don't want to die young, and when it is my time, I don't want to suffer. So in any way that I can make that possible, I want to do that. I'm not sure if I've mentioned before, but my channel name is very special to me. And I've had several people ask, what does Every Tiny Victory mean? Well, in 2007, I think I experienced my first depressive episode. I didn't know what it was, and I didn't know that the things that I was experiencing were depression, symptoms of depression. Finally, of course. I found my running group, and I really truly believe that pulled me out of the depression that I was experiencing. Fast forward several years, in I think 2015, 2016, shortly after Michael and I got married, I experienced another depressive episode that lasted probably a year and a half. And at that time, nobody knew. Unfortunately, even my husband was kind of, he didn't know what was happening. I'll just put it that way. He didn't know what was happening. And I went on medication for the first time, and started seeing a therapist. And when the depression was really bad, I couldn't get out of bed, and I was in a job that I didn't enjoy. The job I enjoyed, I think the place that I was working and the other things going on in my life contributed to that depressive episode. And I had used about 4 weeks combined of vacation time and sick time to call in to work, maybe twice a week for a month or so. And I was really struggling with getting out of bed. So I remember in one particular instance that I hadn't been able to get out of bed for probably 3 days. So aside from getting up and going to the bathroom and, eating, I think I had a meal a day at least at that point. I was really going through it. And something my therapist said, just said, you don't have to do everything today. You don't have to do everything. If all you can do is get up and go to the living room and sit on the sofa, you did something today, and consider that your victory. So tomorrow you can work on getting up and getting out of bed, going to the living room, and putting your hair in a ponytail. And the next day you can work on getting up, getting out of bed, going to the living room, putting your hair in a ponytail and washing your face. And step by step, every day, every little action is going to snowball, and you'll feel in a better spot. You'll be able to manage, more things. But it was literally, one step at a time. And I took that and kind of made it my mantra. Every tiny victory, we get better. Little by little, one task at a time, we're going to choose ourselves. And it's been a challenge. It's not been smooth sailing since that time. As a matter of fact, if I'm being 100% honest, after Michael and I moved back to Houston, shortly after the pandemic, actually, in late 2020, I started emotionally eating, and over 2021 and up until maybe 2022, I was suffering with periods of depression. And that's really when I put on I would say probably 30, 40 pounds in that year, that year's time. Added on to all of the weight that I had put on over the last 10 years. So it's been tough. And I'm not going to say that I've figured it out, because clearly I'm here. But I know that my steps towards regaining my health is a start. And little by little, I'll be able to get in a better spot, and it won't be as terrible. I really feel grateful for today. I remember thinking that while I was walking on the track. I remember thinking that I'm just so grateful to have a second chance. I mean, who am I kidding? I'm having like a third or fourth or fifth chance at this point. And I think that I may not always have the same enthusiasm. I might go through, peaks and valleys again. And I think, the stressors that we have as human beings, and in whatever circumstances that we have, we're never going to be insulated from stress and worry and anxiety and all the things that I suffer from. You may too. But what I'm starting to realize is that there are some things I can control, like my morning routine, my meal plan, my physical activity, my sleep schedule, and all of those things can contribute to me having a better existence. There's other things that I cannot control. Any number of things. There are some things that I cannot control. And it's back. But I think by developing systems and doing the things that I'm doing will help little by little. So if you're here to join me, I guess that's the last thing that I wanted to say, is that if you're here to join me over the month of June, I would love to have you. I might be a struggle, I'm not going to lie. I might be a struggle. But my goal is to share a post every time that I finish my activity for the day. And I would love for you to comment and let me know that you've joined. This month is going to be a month of building up a base for, training in the months to come. I've set out to make a 5K goal, race later this fall. And I'm thinking it'll be sometime between September to November. So I should have plenty of time to, work on establishing a base over the next 4 to 6 weeks, and then start the 5K training, which should be another, I think another 4 to 6 weeks probably from there. So I think that would put me closer to like October, maybe November. So if you're interested, send me any race suggestions that you have around that time. either in the Houston area or in the Lubbock area, I may be able to make something work. So with that being said, I hope that you have a wonderful day, that you spend some time out in the sun, getting some lizard time, and do what you need to do to choose yourself. And I will encourage you to do that, just as I'm learning to do for myself. And you know, hopefully we can live better and be well. All right, so I'm signing off. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here with me. This is Every Tiny Victory, and I'll see you later. Bye.